Alright, hello everyone. It's time for another episode of Tea Time Chat. I'm your host, Ryan. Today we're going to talk about another pedal. We're going to talk about the Joyo Crunch Distortion. But first, let's make some tea. So it's been a while since I actually had a actual tea pot full of tea on camera. This is actually my wife's tea service. When I got married, my own tea service that I had been using at my old house, that was my great grandmother's on my mother's side, I think. So, for whatever reason, we decided to not use it. And I guess she didn't like it or whatever. She already had this one, and so we're going with this new tea service. And this, whoopsie, that's why we have a saucer. So this tea service is nothing special. It's and my great grandmother's wasn't really, any either. You know, as far as tea services go, wasn't really anything special. They're both just silver plate, right? That one was, of course, maybe like 50 years old or so. This one is new. You see these all over the place. So today we're having some Earl Grey. This particular tea came from a big box of assorted flavor tea that our friend Melissa gave to us. So cheers to Melissa. And we'll talk about a couple other things before we get into the pedal. So, as if you've been watching my channel, you know I've been working on a bunch of like gypsy-themed violin pieces, and I actually recorded and uploaded the last one of those yesterday. It was a book that I got from Allison Sparrow online entitled Simply Gypsy, and it's violin pieces geared toward the beginner. And it has 10 different pieces in it, and I learned and performed and recorded and created accompaniment to all of them and posted them up, and I'll probably do a playlist. It took me quite a while to go through the book, probably over a year, because, you know, I've got a lot of things to do, and of course the further I've gotten in my violin journey, the quicker I've been able to like learn them and record them. And this last piece, I actually learned it and recorded it in one day. Pretty amazing, right? The piece wasn't really that hard. So the next thing I want to talk about briefly is this book. So my parents found this book at their house. My mom thinks this is something my dad bought. This is not one of my books, but it's there. I found it. It's got a lot of songs on it, some of which I like, some of which I don't. But now that I'm done with the Simply Gypsy stuff, I'm going to go through here and see what songs are worth learning and recording. And the first up that I'm going to start working on probably today, whoops, there goes my bookmark, is this. So, I do like Led Zeppelin. I am not a huge classic rock fan, but I do like Led Zeppelin, and I plan to learn and record that song, and I will probably use my green strat for Robert Plant's voice. It's good because the book has sheet music for the vocals, so I can do that, which is very nice. So let's see. Let's talk about the pedal. So this pedal is another one of the pedals that Alan from Gringotts traded to me for my circuit designer. This is the Joyo Crunch Distortion. On Amazon it retails for just over $30. It has a 4 out of 5 star rating. Let's look and see what some of the things say about this. Here, this will work better. So does it work with a solid state? Yes. According to one of the answered questions, it's an M1 Audio Crunch box circuit. I don't know, whatever that is. They're very transparent. Effect pedal are not used to improve, blah, blah, blah. They have a very vintage vibe. It's very versatile. Let's see, any thoughts on how this compares to a different kind of distortion? The answer is the pedal's great. Again, it's got 4.2 out of 5 stars, so people really like it. Again, some of the comments are great tone, volume, and gain controls. Extremely high output, great value, singing... Well, there goes the lid to my sugar. Let's just get a little sugar here. Yeah, we'll do all of that. High output in the sustain, good palette of tones, perfect plexi. Plexi is a Marshall style of Marshall, I guess. Unbeatable bang for the buck. Let's see if there was any. Okay, there's one 1-star review, pure junk. It's worse than a generic brand. Blah blah blah. Clearly, most people don't think that. Anyway, so I've played with this a little bit, and it's a good pedal. I've got the settings set thusly and marked in pencil. So I need to do that on the other one. It does give a pretty good volume boost. I've got the tone just towards the bass side. Gain about 3/4, which is kind of what I like, because if you want a good heavy crunch, but you don't want it to be over the top, 3/4 is where I have my amp set most of the time. So let's see, what else is there to say? I did play around with this. Tough to decide if I like this better than the distortion on my amp. I think they're similar in that the green pedal, of course, is more of an overdrive. This is a full-on distortion. I think I still like the distortion on my amp better, but we'll see. Again, the use case for something like this is if I'm having to gig or doing something where I'm using a different amp, like maybe if I was going to play at church or whatever, or for whatever reason I needed a separate pedal. So it's, it's really good. What we're going to do in a second here is I'm going to cut over to our pre-recorded sounds demo that we always do, and I'll probably do just 2 guitars, just the Jackson that you see me wearing now and the Ibanez. I'm probably not going to do any single coil guitars because it doesn't really sound great, in my opinion, for this kind of thing. So, all right.